If you're going for the next Kyron Williams, Nico Collins, or Trey McBride, I have 5 breakouts that you should be targeting in your drafts for the 2025 season. We're going to open up with Trevor Lawrence. And I know it's crazy that we're this far into Trevor Lawrence's career and we are talking about a breakout. But remember Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield was in a similar situation and he wasn't even quite the prospect that Trevor Lawrence was. More importantly, Liam Cohen is coming from the Buccaneers after Baker Mayfield has a top 5 QB season and comes over to the Jaguars, who just drafted Travis Hunter to go along with Brian Thomas Jr. and another underrated target, Brenton Strange. This isn't even counting this loaded backfield that has Bashal Tutin now, Travis Etienne, and Tank Bigsby. Say what you want about Travis Etienne, there are a lot of teams out there who would like to have him on his roster. Shout out to the Cowboys. Lawrence was already flirting with a much better season than we've seen in the past before he got injured with the dirty hit. More importantly, when we saw Brian Thomas Jr. have that rookie breakout, a lot of that production was with Mac Jones. Now, this isn't to say that Trevor Lawrence isn't as good as Mac Jones, but quite the opposite. He's much better than Mac Jones. And if we saw Mac Jones perform that well in a Doug Peterson system, I think we can be hopeful for Trevor Lawrence in a Liam Cohen system. We're taking him incredibly late in fast draft right now, so if you miss out on some of these high-end QBs or even your Baker Mayfields, Trevor Lawrence is in this low tier where you could get someone with QB1 upside as a QB2. He's a smash play and he's easy to stack if you're going to take Brian Thomas Jr. early or any of these running backs. And I've already said it, Brenton Strange is a tight end that I'm targeting as a tight end too, extrapolating what we saw towards the tail end of last season when Evan Ingram got hurt. Next, my favorite tight end that I keep talking about, Tucker Kraft. And the reason why I bring him up is that I see him in the same sweet spot of players that Trevor Lawrence finds himself in. This is someone who dominated in yards per route run, broken tackles, almost every metric that you want for a tight end. And he's clearly usurped Luke Musgrave, who was drafted before him. This feels a lot like a Baltimore Ravens situation where they drafted Hayden Hurst ahead of Mark Andrews, but Mark Andrews ended up being the guy when it was all said and over. There is no middle ground with tight end. I either want Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, or George Kittle, or I'm reaching all the way down here for your Tucker Crafts. All those peripherals give me upside that I'm getting much cheaper, so I'm not reaching for mediocre talent. I can get wide receivers, running backs, or even QB2s who are going to put up more points in my lineup than, let's say, a middling tight end. Overdrafting tight end hurts more people than missing out on a tight end altogether and just streaming. And especially in a tournament like our Rabbit Bestball tournament, where you don't have the flexibility or room to draft 3 tight ends all the time. Sometimes you can, but if you want just a firm tight end, Tucker Kraft is someone that I'm more than comfortable putting into my lineups. And before you go any further, if you love content like this, hit the like and subscribe button. I have more content like this coming at you consistently every week, talking best ball, dynasty, redraft, just talking plain ball here. And more importantly, if you want the latest best ball news with fast draft, you can get it right here. Or you could hop into our Discord, link right there in the bio, where we keep you updated on our promos, like what's happening on Fast Draft Friday. Or you can get in right now, right away, without even getting in the Discord and using my code JAG. The Rabbit tournament is only 1 week old at this point, so ADPs are still moving all over the place. You can get in and take advantage of all that variance and win yourself some cash. Well, we'll hop right back into it. Now, I know I said this is a breakout video. I'm talking about a rookie breakout. It's Quinshon Judkins. Judkins has only fallen in ADP since we opened up the tournament. This is someone that I am targeting heavily. I've targeted him heavily in rookie drafts. I've targeted him in dynasty startups. Now I'm targeting him again in best ball because this is someone who is in the perfect rushing offense. What I see right now is Jonathan Taylor, an athletic ground and pound player who's in the perfect system with the perfect coach that is going to go back to their roots after having David Njoku and signing Harold Fannin. They switched to more 3 wide receiver sets for Deshaun Watson. Now that era is over and they're going to start back to what made this offense work in the beginning when they had Nick Chubb, now with Quinshon Judkins. If you want to think about all these rookies that are going ahead of him, and by all these rookies, I mean specifically Omari and Hampton, I think we have the same upside here. It's not quite the same level of talent as far as the team, but when I'm thinking about that touchdown equity and how this team is going to be rushed first, I'm okay taking a discount on Omari and Hampton than that premium cost with Najee Harris behind the actual Omari and Hampton. He is a blue chip player. The only thing that has stopped him for having top 3 running back conversations is that he shared a backfield backfield with Trevion Henderson, which I don't think is a bad thing. They had complementary skill sets on an excellent team who just won a championship. Clearly, they were okay with keeping both of these running backs fresh. Personally, I think his lack of carries is a feature and not a bug. I'm having Quinshon Judkins on every roster that I can in 2025. Now, another quarterback. Drake May. It was as bad as it could get for a young QB on the Patriots last season. Now, fast forward, we have a new head coach. We have an old offensive coordinator that's been successful back with the headset and the booth. We got Stefon Diggs. They drafted Kyle Williams. Demario Douglas is still there, who we'll talk about later. Spoilers. Drake May is poised for a breakout, and that isn't even including the rushing upside, because that is the ticket here. I know that we all have these concerns about if the passing offense is going to take a step forward. More importantly, that offensive line. They brought in 3 additions and drafted Will Campbell, but we don't know if that's going to mesh together. I'm still willing to make a bet on Drake May from the rushing floor alone. When you look at someone like Justin Fields, who missed 3 games, didn't even pass over 2,500 yards, he still finished as a QB5. Now, Drake May isn't quite the rusher that Justin Fields is, but keep in mind, he's twice the passer. So I think it'll work out in the end, and I'm going to take Drake May when I can, because this is someone who has top 5 QB floor that you're drafting in the 2nd round, sometimes and even super flex. If you need to take Brock Purdy for some stacking purposes, that's fine. But keep in mind, stacking doesn't mean that you have to have the QB. You can have a naked QB elsewhere, then take someone like Drake May who has easy stacks, which is a good segue to go ahead and move over to my last player, Demario Douglas. I know I said all kinds of nice things about Kyle Williams and Stefon Diggs, but right now, Demario Douglas is in the shadow realm, and he's someone who's going to have plenty of opportunity in the Patriots offense. When the Patriots were devoid of talent in 2024, the one receiver who was consistent besides Hunter Henry was Demario Douglas. And more importantly, we know how Josh McDaniels can scheme up these slot players. I know that Diggs is going to get some slot time, but Diggs is someone else who can also play out in the Z. And we've already had note that Demario Douglas has been cooking in camp. He's only being drafted in 7.4% of rapid drafts right now. When you want to think about someone no one else is drafting that gives you a unique lineup with upside per cost, I think Demario Douglas is the key player you should target with one of your last picks. He's going around Adam Thielen, Roschon Johnson, you shouldn't be drafting, Theo Johnson. None of these guys beyond Adam Thielen are starting receivers, and I question how much of a starter Adam Thielen is anymore. They just brought on Tetairoa McMillan, and they just drafted Xavier Legette, who is at nothing. More importantly, Jalen Coker's there. I'm not drafting Adam Thielen, I'm drafting Demario Douglas. Similar situation with Brashard Smith. We are running on a lot of hopium and speculation that Brashard Smith is going to get actual running back touches. Now, he will have value on special teams, and I do expect him to get some touches, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't draft him, but more importantly, that Demario Douglas shouldn't be in this range of players when he has the higher path to upside. Just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Now, those were 5 breakouts for you for 2025. As always, I'm Jagger May. If you want more videos like this, hit the like, subscribe button. If you want to draft for yourself and use some of these tactics I'm giving for you for a brand new best ball tournament, use my code on the screen. Love you guys. We'll see you on the next one.